And hi everybody, welcome to smoky Snohomish, Washington, about 30 miles north of Seattle. My name is Mark Horner. It's a pleasure to have you here. Wow, what a difference a day makes. And in truth be told, for the last several days, we've had a bit of smoke coming from, first, some light smoke from California and Oregon, and then a bit more smoke coming over the mountains from central and eastern Washington state. But boy, now the stuff that's originating in California and Oregon, which has been making international headlines. Just 10% of the population in Oregon is apparently away from their homes right now, having to leave their homes because of the threat of wildfires. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to adjust something here so I can see your comments in case they're coming in. And let's see if we can get this phone to play nicely. And then I've got a special treat for you for some extended coverage from here in Western Washington. Again, my name is Mark Horner. I live here in the Snohomish area, and this is a spot where I've done so much photography and so much live streaming, historically on Periscope, as well as a bit on YouTube here and there. This is Springhetty Road. It's just south of the small airfield in the heart of Snohomish, which is known as Harvey Field. I'm going to show you the look out front here. Let's get my name off the screen. And this is the Snohomish Valley, at least a portion of it. There's the tree that's often featured in my logo. But what I want to do right now is share with you footage, drone footage, shot late this afternoon during the 4 o'clock hour from Skagit County. This is shot right near the Skagit River Bridge. It's where Mount Vernon going north meets Burlington, right in that general area. And again, this was shot during the 4 o'clock hour, and I want to thank my brother Jeff for shooting it. Let's bring it up. Okay, so let's go to Skagit County. And Skagit County is one county north of Snohomish County. So we're looking at footage that's approximately 30 miles or so just north of here during the 4 o'clock hour. And here is that footage. So we've got nearly 2 minutes of drone footage, so you can see what it looked like as this smoke continued to move throughout and into Washington state today. Again, this is wildfire smoke that had originated in Oregon and California, moved out to the Pacific Ocean actually, but the jet stream pushed it northward and ultimately caused it to hang a right turning east and is moving up primarily through southwestern Washington. So the jet stream's moving towards us, coming out of the southwest. Many of you who know Western Washington will recognize a lot of the landmarks in this footage. And again, I want to thank my brother Jeff Horner for shooting this around the 4 o'clock hour just this afternoon. So you can get a good look at what's happening. And this, folks, this is not supposed to be the worst of it. It's supposed to be, actually, I'm sure it already is in southwestern Washington, worse than this. Here in Snohomish County, health authorities, according to a report I watched on King 5 News at the top of the 5 o'clock hour, has said that for everybody in Snohomish County, where I'm streaming live from right now, that it's unhealthy for everybody and to stay indoors if you can. So again, some local landmarks I know many of you will recognize in this footage. Doreen, thank you very much. You couldn't see Snohomish all day from Everett. I'm reading some of your comments right now. It's worse than California, PNW writer. Bob, thank you. Nice to have you here, Hayden and Doreen. So let's bring it back out live now. Here's your live look at Snohomish. What you saw from the drone footage was recorded around the 4 o'clock hour this afternoon. This is now a live picture, and I'm going to adjust my shot just a moment here. I'm going to need to move just out of frame here. So I want to show you that indeed there are people still turning out, judged on the parked cars, to pick produce here at Bailey Farms, which is a hot spot this time of year. And it's important to the Baileys too, financially, right? I'm out of earshot now, but let's go ahead and go back to our primary camera, which is on my tripod. It's an iPhone 7 Plus. And let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. You can just start to make out the stands in the center of your screen. To the right of them are some parked cars. I know it's kind of a fog, but it's actually smoke. And truth be told, we have clear skies, no clouds. Problem is that between, of course, the clear skies and us, we have all of this smoke that is now settling in. The fields where people are picking, and there are some folks out there, extend right to left in this general area right here. Meantime, the sun will be setting west-southwest, going further to our left, further south as we get deeper into the calendar year. And you know, we had a really interesting situation in 2018 where we had really bad smoke. I'm sure many of you will remember it. I remember it because that's when my family went to Blaine, right up against the Canadian border. We went to Semiahmoo Resort. And the smoke was so bad, this was just 2 years ago, that at sunset, I would say about 20 minutes before sunset, as we tried to look across the water, the sun just disappeared. Again, the lower you get in the atmosphere, the more settling, it's just more condensed smoke particulates, right? All right. All right, I'm going to move back into your shot here. Here we are. So again, according to what we've been hearing in the news and from officials, including the governor today, was pretty animated about everything, and I'll touch on that in just a moment. But this is not as bad as it's going to get this go around between now and Monday, and by Monday, it's expected to start clearing out. But between now and Monday, it's expected to continue to get a bit worse here. And if you live in southwestern Washington, it probably is much worse than this. And so for the next 24 to 36 hours, if you can stay indoors, best to stay indoors. And again, here in Snohomish County, it's been, the health officials are saying, stay indoors if you can, because it's officially unhealthy air for everybody. And looking back out live, it's really interesting. When you looked, as I'm sure many of you have seen, especially on social media or perhaps on your local news, at the satellite images, I've seen a scale from no smoke to extreme smoke, and there are colors in between. No smoke is white, the white area, and the worst you can get is purple. And I saw a whole lot of purple in a blob moving, you know, generally in a northeasterly direction heading our way. So that is, of course, quite a concern. Now, our governor today, Governor Jay Inslee, speaking to the media at a news event, as well as going to local towns, his emphasis, he went so far as to say this is not wildfire smoke in his opinion. In his opinion, this is not a naturally occurring event. It's the result of climate change. And he's using this opportunity to call attention to what he sees as the most immediate threat to the planet, to be honest with you. And he keeps citing the fact that he doesn't recall anything like this within a 3 to 5 year period where we have these continuing events where it's so bad in terms of smoke, where there's ash on vehicles at times, and you wake up and the air is just so bad to breathe. And so that's the point that he's hammering home, and he's talking about dry grass now here in Washington State being the equivalent of sticks of dynamite, if you will. So that's one thing, that's one aspect of the news, the news cycle that's generating here in Washington State. So if you haven't heard Governor Jay Inslee yet, and you happen to come across him speaking in tonight's newscasts, or you read about something, that's going to be a big part of his messaging. Meantime, you know, the familiar themes of making sure that you have defensible space around your property, meaning that you clear shrubs and trees that are, you know, tree limbs that are very close to your home, to have that defensible space. There are so many stories out there right now of people having to flee, some of them quite tragic. I believe it was a 1-year-old child perished as a family attempted to escape a fire. The other family members badly burned. I believe they're expected to recover. So yeah, and in our local news story on that event, whoever might be responsible if it's human caused would be charged with homicide. So there's a lot of seriousness attached to what's going on, quite obviously. And then there's this reoccurrence of people who are allegedly starting fires along roadways on purpose, firebugs, if you will. So yeah, it's 2020. It's a crazy year. I would estimate, and if Dayron Johnson was watching right now, Snowco_scanner, I would estimate that visibility at best is a half mile. I don't know, maybe it's a bit further than that. It depends on where you define the line. I can see out to Highway 9 here across these farm fields and some trees just on the other side, Stalker Farms, but I can't see beyond that. So there's the tree that we're all familiar with if you follow my broadcast or photography. And beyond that, that's right across the street, across the highway from State Route 9, where you see those faint trees at Stalker Farms. And we're just not seeing much beyond that. If this was a clear day, we would be seeing, well, to our right, we would be seeing Mount Baker, and a bit further to our right, as we point the camera northeast, we'd see peaks on the Cascade Mountains. And so although we have no clouds, we have so much smoke that there's just no chance that we're going to see any of the familiar landmarks that makes Washington the beautiful state that it is to live in. I'm going to zoom in all the way out there. And just want to catch up on comments. Jeff says, looks great, Brother Mark. Jeff, thank you, sir. And thank you very much for your outstanding drone photography, Jeff. You're getting really good. The movement, the pans, the shots you sent. I tell you what, so Jeff generously went out and shot that footage. And then he shared it to me via Facebook, the drone footage from Skagit County. Why don't I go ahead and play that again? Let's do that. Hang on a sec. We'll set this up rather nicely here. Hang on. And give you a bit of the behind the scenes of what transpired today. Okay, I'll come over this way. So on your left-hand side, that is, again, just like it says, 4 o'clock today in Skagit County, in the vicinity of the Skagit River Bridge. That's the same bridge that had a collapse back in 2013 or 14? I think it was 14. I may be mistaken on that, but that's the area. So it's kind of where North Mount Vernon meets southern Burlington as you travel northward on the I-5 corridor. Yeah, Jeff went out there and he shot that drone footage with his DJI, and I forget which one it is, but he sent me the footage via Facebook, and then I edited it on my iPhone in this case. My iPad is being replaced right now, so I edited on my iPhone using LumaFusion, and that's what you're watching right now. So he did a really good job. You can get really good appreciation of how this smoke is moving throughout the area. Again, that's north of us, so that's on your way to Canada as you go left to right there. If I've got the geography right, the perspective that Jeff's doing here. And again, this smoke that is moving in off of the Pacific, again, it started in, this is wildfire smoke from both Oregon and California, where they have devastating fires, is well documented, and many of you know about it firsthand. Even here in Washington State, many people know what it's like, very much so, to contend with a raging wildfire right now. But that smoke from Oregon and California, in large part, had moved westward out over the Pacific Ocean, but it's come back inward as it traveled north, and it's moving into Washington State now. And the forecasters have been saying that this smoke is going to cover much of Washington State, not just here in the Puget Sound region, but just across the mountains in the Central Basin and extending further east all the way out towards the border in the Spokane area. So it's affecting much of Washington State. So that's going to be the big headline, I think, for much of today. And we'll bring it back out here. Normally, the area that's right below me, let's take a live look at that. Here's the farm field, just off of, on the west side of Spring-Getty Road. I've done a lot of photography here over the years, including, there were a bunch of nice birds. Boy, you could just hear them fanning the air as they went through, literally. I want to show you, I took some pictures, just kind of give you what the beauty of what's normally here. Here's a look at this very same patch of ground just beneath us over this same summer. So that was before the sun just came up, just before the sun came up. And I referenced the tree that's down below that's also in my logo. Here's that tree. This was in July in the evening, and that's Comet Neowise to the right of the tree. And I was up in the Dutch Hill area, probably a couple of weeks ago. And I went live on Periscope at that time and took some photographs of Mount Rainier at sunset. And so these are the clear skies and the majestic beauty, if you will, that we love so much. It was on September 4th. It was on September 4th, so just a week ago, that I parked in this very spot. And let's show you what this looks like without smoke, because I have a brief video clip to show you what that looked like on September 4th. So that's what it should look like. There was still a bit of smoke in the area. At that time, I believe it was also from California and Oregon. But let's go back to a live look. There we go. This is what it looks like now. Those of you who live near the water of Puget Sound, especially here on the eastern side of Puget Sound, you're going to see that sun get awfully interesting as it gets closer to sunset. Susan North, is this where all the birds are when you film live before? Yeah, this is where I oftentimes show you the snow geese and the trumpeter swans. Exactly right, Susan. Hayden Davies, nice to have you here. Jeff, thanks for doing the invite. Appreciate that, you inviting your friends. Thank you, Jeff. May 23rd, 2013 for the Skagit River Bridge collapse. I actually shot that event, and if you go to you are on my YouTube channel. If you look it up, you'll find plenty of clips, including vehicles in the water from that night. Jeff is the drone man. Yes, it's sad indeed, Susan. The fires in California, an area the size of New Jersey, Susan comments, burned like an atomic bomb fell. It's bad, Susan. Thank you very much for all of your comments. I appreciate that and your questions. So yeah, the air is unhealthy for all, according to health authorities here locally. So what I'm going to do, the sun's kind of just off behind a tree behind me here. So I'm going to move a little bit. I don't have a whole lot of real estate. I'm safely parked just off the road in an area that is meant for parking, pretty much for a single vehicle. I like this area because of the vantage point up high, and it's also a designated parking area. It's legal to park here, and that's what it's here for. It wasn't here a few years ago, so I'm really grateful for it. But I do want to move just a little bit further along this way so I can hopefully show you what the sun looks like. So I am going to move out of your shot, and well, I'll tell you what, let's just go to this shot. Nope, that's not going to be good. What shall I do? Well, you'll just watch me move out of shot. Nope, I'm not going to be able to get a shot of it just here, but I'll show you, give you an idea. Okay, let's bring it up here. You can just see the sun peeking behind the tree there. And as it sinks, the smoke is going to be more condensed, right, as it settles. The particulates settle. And I don't know that it's going to be so bad tonight that it disappears before it officially sets, it goes out of view. But that's exactly what happened when I was up near the Canadian border in 2018 at the Semiyama Resort with my family. I mean, the sun just flat out disappeared. And for the folks living in southwestern Washington, it would not surprise me at all if that's what happens there this evening. All right, we're going to move our shot again. I'm going to give you yet a different perspective here in a moment. So we've moved a bit further. I think as the sun sets, it kind of moves into the sky from left to right. So it might come out from behind that tree here in a bit. All right. So if you like this type of content, please, if you don't already, feel free to subscribe. Please consider doing so. It really helps out the channel. And I've been pretty hyper-focused on it, the channel, as opposed to past years, because life is so busy, right? But now that I'm working from home in the evenings, I have more time, and I don't get up quite so early to drive to work, so a bit more time is afforded to me, and I can work here and there on making things happen here. Hey, we're covering me up with the graphic. We don't want to do that. Let's go to our other shot. So I'll just point some landmarks that we don't see out where we would see them. So from this very spot, this is where we would see Mount Baker. If we had clear skies, meaning we don't have any clouds already, but this is this star and smoke, Mount Baker would be in the distance there. It looks like a big scoop of vanilla ice cream. And this is the most excellent spot for photography in the winter because you get trumpeter swans flying left to right in the evening while it's still light, I guess late afternoon because the sun goes down early. And Mount Baker will turn pink at sunset, and you get these trumpeter swans in the foreground, literally looking like they're flying over the mountain. It's a beautiful spot for photography. And this is where we begin to see much of the Cascade Mountain range. So keeping this live look in mind. Okay, you're looking live right now. Keeping this in mind, let me show you what this is exactly right about here where I was standing and pointing when I took this shot right here. That was earlier this summer, as I mentioned a bit earlier in the broadcast, just before sunrise. But this is what we have tonight. We will, Susan. Thank you very much. Hayden Davies, nice to have you here from the UK. Susan, you recognize the tree. All right. Well, I hope this all worked out for you in terms of the convenience of the viewing. I tried to go through the proper process so that you could be notified and made aware. Truth be told, when I got here, I actually wondered if there was one more thing I needed to do on the computer before I left home to make this broadcast happen. Fortunately, that wasn't the case because I got here about 20 minutes before 6 and I thought, oh, do I need to drive home? But everything seems to be working really well, so that's fantastic. I want to thank you very much for tuning in and watching this broadcast. If you live in Washington State, try and stay in as much as possible. That's what we're hearing here in Snohomish County. And I know that the folks south of here in Western Washington have it even worse at the moment. And according to what the meteorologists are saying, this stuff continues to move in from the Pacific, and it's probably going to get worse tonight and into tomorrow, and then finally begin to dissipate on Monday as some winds, the jet stream changes, and the smoke pushes out of here. So we'll wrap it up, my friends. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful evening or day wherever you might be. Take care, everybody.